Welcome back to the Practical PC Guide. We are on a mission to build the ultimate side PC setup, but today the setup fought back. I'm using this white label dual monitor mount to save disk space and get that perfect vertical monitor flip. I thought this was a 10 minutes job, but it turned out into a day-long nightmare. Between the disk clearance problems and my own sanity, I almost lost it. I cried, I raged, and I went full Kratos on my furniture.
Take it easy, Jeffrey. Be calm.
So in this video, I will show you how to assemble this articulating arm and give you the practical tips so you don't end up like me. Let's get to work. Look, this channel is about practical guides and actionable tips. So let's start with total transparency. These white label manufacturers, the ones making the Vivo alternatives and budget dual monitor mounts, they change their screw types, hole placements, and tension bolts every other week to save a buck. I bought this articulating arm from a local brand, so I can't guarantee your Visa hardware will look exactly like mine. Therefore, instead of a boring step-by-step assembly manual that will just confuse you, we are focusing on the logic of the assembly. If you understand how the steel pole and the arm tension actually work, you can mount any dual screen setup on the market. So let's get into the mechanics before the disk surgery begins. When you are picking up a dual articulating arm, whether it's the Vivo Stand-V002 or a white label alternative, the first thing you have to do is some math. Don't just wing it. I'm using these dual BenQ GW2491 monitors. They are 24-inch 1080p panels and they only weigh around 2.6 kilograms without the base. They use a standard Visa 100 by 100 mount. Now, looking at the articulating arm specifications, and let's not get too excited because these boxes love to exaggerate. It says it supports up to 9 kilograms per arm in screen sizes from 17 to 32 inches. It handles both 75 by 75 and 100 by 100 Visa patterns. The tilt range is plus or minus 45 degrees and the swivel is 90 degrees in both directions. It even has integrated cable management clips. Honestly, these specs are absolute overkill for these light BenQ monitors, but it's actually a good thing. Using lightweight monitors means the dual screen mount will live longer, it won't sag over time, and it will be much easier to flip into a vertical monitor setup. And on a side note, I did a full deep dive in unboxing of these exact monitors in my last video. You can check it out in the end screen card if you want the details. Remember, we are officially one video away from building the actual PC for this side setup. So let's get back to the struggle. Practical chaos is just getting started. So instead of doing a step-by-step guide that you probably saw like a million times, let's try to answer the common questions and fix the problems that you will probably face that no YouTuber or not even the Vivo channel addressed. Point number 1. I saw a guy in the comments complaining under the Vivo video that his monitor face planted onto the disk the second he mounted it. Look, these articulating arms don't come pre-tensioned for your specific screen weight. You must use the Allen key to tighten the tilt tension bolt behind the Visa plate. If you don't, your dual monitor setup is just going to stare at the floor. But point number 2 is where I cried and raged, which has to do with the disk clearance. So the C-clamp depth is around 6 centimeters, but the distance from my disk edge to the supporting frame is only 3 centimeters. To make it worse, the supporting frame is 12 centimeters tall, meaning the chunky clamp handle, the part you actually have to turn to tighten the mount, was hitting the frame. It was physically impossible to secure the steel pole. I had no choice. I put the headphones on my ears and cranked the volume up and jammed to the God of War 3 theme song while performing the desktop surgery. I drilled two precise lines into the solid wood disc to allow the C-clamp to slide in further. Then, I added a simple wooden shim block between the clamp and the desk. This lowered the clamping mechanism just enough so the adjustment handle could rotate freely without hitting the frame. It's not pretty, it's not minimalist, but it is rock solid stability. Sometimes you have to modify the world to fit your setup. This is the first time I assemble this clamp model. I always prefer the ones with the base just to avoid this headache. But I went cheap, so I had to suffer and make the disc suffer too. Before drilling the disc, I even brought this mini round table that has enough clearance to test the clamp and it worked fine. The round table looked funny and ugly, so I thought that there was no hope. Until Athena whispered in my ear with this solution. Point number 3 is a quick warning for the hollow disc owners. If you are using one of those honeycomb cardboard discs and clearance isn't your issue, don't just crank the clamp, tighten it very slowly. I recommend putting a piece of cardboard or a rubber spacer between the clamp and the disc to act as a sponge. It will distribute the pressure and prevent the steel from chewing through your furniture. This is also why choosing lightweight monitors like these BenQ GW2491s is a pro move. Because they are so light, there is zero stress on the C-clamp. You won't get that slow disc creep where the weight leaves a permanent dent. And no, I don't mean Harvey dent. I mean a literal crater in your workspace. As for the cable management, if you are setting this up once and leaving it, the included clips are fine. But let's be real, if your PC or power strip is in a weird spot, just use zip ties. They are the practical chaos gold standard for a reason. This arm doesn't have a gas spring to fight with. It's a simple slide and lock pull system. Set your eye level, tighten the joint bolts with the Allen key, and you are done. No spring traps, just physics. Lastly, don't forget to lube the joints with grease if the articulations feel stuck or hard to rotate. Point number 4 will answer another commonly asked question, which is, should I use the clamp or the grommet mount system? So most manuals and clean setup gurus will tell you to use the grommet mount, drilling a hole right through the center of your disc for a cleaner look. I do not recommend this at all. First, if your disc is hollow, drilling a center hole is a recipe for disaster. The structural integrity will be gone. Second, until you have actually used the setup, you won't know your perfect ergonomic eye level. Once you drill that hole, you are committed. The C-clamp method, even with the disc surgery hack, it will give you the flexibility to move the steel pole later. Don't trade practicality for aesthetics until you are 100% sure where those monitors need to live. Now, let's talk about the last point that will give any tech enthusiast a heart stroke. The 1 centimeter gap and imperfect alignment. So you have done the surgery, you have mounted the arms, and then you realize one monitor is slightly higher than the other. If you are trying to stretch a video editor across both screens, or you have a beautiful desktop background that needs to be perfectly aligned, then the fact that you can't perfectly align the monitors will feel like a total scam. But don't panic. This budget articulating arm actually has a hidden solution. First, look at the top of the VESA plate slider. There is a micro adjustment thumb screw or leveling screw. By turning this, you can physically raise or lower the monitor to get that perfect horizontal alignment. Even with the unit I had to lower one down while raising the other one up a little bit to make them perfectly aligned. But even then, there is a second boss battle, the wobble. So the manufacturer made the VESA mounting bracket slots too wide so they slide in easily. But that extra space means your monitors will tilt and shift every time you touch the desk. My solution? It's the strategic toothpick. So believe it or not, I jammed a toothpick into the corner of the bracket insertion to fill the gap. It locks the monitor into place, stops the VESA plate wobble, and keeps your alignment pixel perfect. It's a 1 cent fix for a $35 problem. That is the practical chaos at its finest. And guess what? We just fought and won the final boss. Congratulations! So, the dual monitor articulating arm is secure, the disk surgery was a success, and we finally have our 12 million pixels ready to go. This was the final step of the hardware preparation. In the next video, we are finally building the actual PC for the site setup. But the hardware is only half the battle. After the build, I'm going to show you how to optimize it for maximum privacy and performance, starting with a clean install of Windows 10 LTSC IoT and setting up local AI programs so you can run LLMs completely offline with zero subscriptions. If you missed the deep dive on these BenQ monitors or the start of this series, watch them right here on the end screen and subscribe to join the practical chaos. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.